Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another video. I'm Pastor Akers, and today I want to talk to you about this symbol. Maybe you've seen it if you've been around churches a lot. It kind of looks like a PX. And maybe you've wondered, what is this? What does it mean? Well, this is a Christian symbol that's fairly common. It's been used throughout the 2,000 years of church's history because it means Christ. And it's the abbreviation of the first two Greek letters of the title, Christ. And so I've written here a little bit smaller, Christ in Greek. You have what looks like an X, which is the letter He, makes the CH sound. And you have a Rho, looks like a P, but it makes the R sound. And when you combine those first two letters of Christ, that's how you abbreviate Christ. Chi Rho, or if you're American, Chi Rho. And so this is known as a Chi Rho, and it simply means Christ. So I'd like to take you into our sanctuary and show you where you see a Chi Rho in our sanctuary and what that means. So stay with me. So here we are in the sanctuary of the Lutheran Church of the Resurrection, and you may notice a symbol that we just talked about, the Chi Rho. And this is on the front of the altar here in the front of the sanctuary. And there's a very specific reason why there's a Chi Rho on this altar. You may notice, left over from our divine service on Sunday, we still have the communion elements that have not been cleaned up yet and put away. And there's a tie between this Chi Rho and the communion elements. Our confession is, when we see this on the altar, we are declaring that Christ is on this altar, not in some sort of way that he's being re-sacrificed, but Christ comes to us in the Lord's Supper, physically, in his body and in his blood. And so this is a proclamation that Christ is here and he comes to us. And so that's why immediately before we celebrate the Lord's Supper, after the words of institution have been spoken, the congregation, they sing the Agnus Dei, O Christ, thou Lamb of God, who takes away the sin of the world, have mercy upon us. And our confession is that Christ, the Lamb of God, is physically present with us in this bread and in this wine as he comes to us for our forgiveness, for our strengthening of our faith, and for the assurance of our eternal salvation. And then after receiving the Lord's Supper, the congregation stands and cries out together the Song of Simeon, which is known as the Nunc Dimittis. And we proclaim in that song, Lord, my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have declared in the presence of all peoples. We have seen Christ as he's come to us in the Lord's Supper. And so that's why there's a Chi Rho here on our altar. And I hope that explains to you a little bit about this symbol and what the meaning of it is. So thanks for joining me for this video. And until next time, God bless.